Hi guys, I'm Mario Frado and this is Making the Case. So the New York Times have come out with a bombshell report where they claim to be in possession of the last almost 20 years of President Trump's tax returns. Now I don't know if it's true or not, and the New York Times is notorious for fake news, but for argument's sake, let's assume that it's true. So before we get into what's in these returns, let's get into what's not in there. So it must have really hurt the New York Times to report that there was no previously unknown connection to Russia in there. That's something that I'm sure they were hoping for, but there is no Russia connection in the last 20 years. There are also no allegations of any illegal activity at all. Contrary to what's being reported by some other news outlets, President Trump did in fact pay federal income taxes over the last 20 years. He paid about $95 million. However, back in 2010, he applied for a program under President Obama's IRS, which allowed him to receive a refund of $72.9 million, essentially reducing his tax burden to a little more than $20 million. This report also claims that somebody who was in Donald Trump's position should have paid close to $400 million, but instead he's paid about 20 times less than that. But I would say that means he has a great accountant. Does anybody think Donald Trump's doing his own taxes here? The job of an accountant is to make sure you pay as little tax as possible and not a penny more. So back in 2011, after that $72.9 million refund was granted to President Trump, there was an audit initiated by the IRS. Now remember, Obama's IRS had been weaponized and they eventually got in some trouble for targeting conservatives. And back in 2011, President Trump was attacking President Obama with the whole birther argument. So you better believe that if there was any hint of illegality in that refund that was granted, there would have been something done. And this also goes to show that Donald Trump was telling the truth back in 2016 when he was asked to release his returns when he said he was currently being audited. So it really looks like President Trump did nothing more than anybody else in his position would do. He took deductions where he could, he got refunds that he was entitled to, and he still paid over $20 million in taxes. They even tried attacking President Trump by saying that he only paid $750 in the first 2 years of his presidency, but that's because he is not involved in any of his businesses, which he's not allowed to do while he's president, and he's donating his entire salary, so I wouldn't assume that he was paying any taxes. It's pretty obvious that this is supposed to be an almost October surprise for Joe Biden. The debates are tomorrow and he needs something. We know Joe's really struggling. So I think the New York Times are trying to throw him a life preserver here and hope that he can have one canned line or some sort of zinger so they can claim Joe won the debate. But I think it's impossible that Joe's going to win this debate. So this was a pretty lame attempt, and I'm sure this story is going to fizzle out a week from now. Guys, if you like this video, please like, share, subscribe, and stay tuned for more. Thanks, guys.